I have a lot to say and not a lot of time to say it, so I'm going to make this quick. So I started out 2017 with, I wasn't doing a lot of videos, but I was doing more than I have been lately. The reason I haven't been making videos is because I've just been going through a lot, and uh, because I finally found who my father was in, I think September. I went on, um, 23andMe and got their kit for $68. That was at the end of summer sale. Um, and then, well, actually, that was probably in July, and I got my results, I think, in August or something. And um, so I got my results, and it didn't really help me at all. I mean, it told me where I was from and around the world, um, but it didn't really help me find who my father was. And so Ancestry, or so somebody suggested I go to Ancestry. I went to Ancestry. I filled out my family tree from my mother's side, and then I started searching for my father. But I wasn't. I kept hitting walls. I couldn't find him. So I went to, or Ancestry had their DNA on sale for $68. So I did that. And I got my results back a month later. But before the month was, or before I got my results, I actually found my father through Ancestry without even using the DNA. Um, and I found out that I had a brother. And I think that was either in September when I found them and I contacted them, and I think it was in October when they actually responded. and um, I had some conversations with my brother in October, and then that was it. and I don't expect anyone to want to have a relationship with me all of a sudden after 50 years. you know, I mean, I'm only 48, but my brother's 50, and he's lived his whole life without knowing a brother, or knowing he had a brother, and all of a sudden here I am. So I don't expect him to all of a sudden, um, you know, want to be talking to me every day. Plus the fact that he's in Germany and I can only talk to him from like 8 a.m. until like noon, because by the time I'm having lunch, he's going to bed. So that's kind of difficult for us to communicate. But after the last time we spoke, I was in communication with my aunt, who was married to my Uncle Howard, and she told me that I had a cousin named Patty. Well, Patty also did a DNA test with Ancestry, and it came up that she was not a match with me. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, if we're related, how come she's not a DNA match? So I started, and plus it said that I had this other brother, who, by the way, has still not responded to me. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, if she's not a DNA match and we're cousins, something's wrong here. But and that's why I've been so on edge and so depressed and haven't wanted to make videos, because I don't know who anyone is. I don't know who I am, and um, I don't know who my father is, and so I finally, a couple nights ago, I finally discovered. I'm in on Ancestry. They have this thing called DNA circles. I'm in 18 DNA circles, and one of those DNA circles leads right to my father. So right there, that was my smoking gun that let me know that I am actually related to these people, and that I did find my father after all. And I mean, you have no idea how hard it was for me to go through all this emotion of, did I really find my father? And eventually I've discovered, yes, I did find my real father. And a lot of people don't understand why I need to find my father, even if he's not alive. Why I need to find out who my father was. Because a lot of those people who are saying, well, why, I don't understand, they've never had to be in this situation. They've always known who both of their parents were. Or maybe they just don't care who their parents are. Maybe they feel, well, this person hasn't been in my life, so why should I care about them? Well, my mother took me out of his life. My mother took my sister out of her father's life. And, my mother told my sister's father, who's actually on my birth certificate as my father, she told him to leave her kid alone and don't ever come by. And he had to stalk her to see to see his own daughter. That's not right. But, you know, my sister found her father, and now I finally found mine. And it's a great feeling to know who your father is, And if you don't understand that, then I'm sorry, I can't explain it anymore. Just know that I needed to find out who my father was. That's what I needed to do for myself. And I feel like I've accomplished a goal that has taken me a very long time, more than 30 years. When my mother told me about my father when I was 15 years old in 1985, I wanted to find him ever since, and he passed away I think it was 2013 when he passed away. And I finally had his name in 2002, so I should have been able to find him, but it took all this time, and I believe that everything happens in its own time and for a reason. And maybe I wasn't meant to meet my father. Maybe I was just meant to meet my brother. Who knows? But at least I finally found who my father was, and I found that I had a brother, and ancestry saying you have another brother. I don't know if that's on my mother's side or my father's side. I have no clue. But so my 2017 has been very questful, and I've finished my quest of over 30 years, and I've been working on ancestry and trying to get my tree, all these leaves done, and I don't know how, but I accidentally paid for another month this month, so I have until like January 12th or something like that. So I'm clicking the leaves as much as I can. I'm also doing Duolingo, practicing to learn German. I have an aunt who is married to a German man, and they speak German quite often. So when I'm there, all of a sudden they go from English to German. I'm like, okay. And so, having knowledge of German is going to be helpful there. So I've been learning German because hopefully one of these days, I mean, maybe it may happen, it may not happen, but hopefully one of these days I might get to meet my brother, which means I'd have to go to Germany. And if I go to Germany, I want to be able to speak German. So hopefully, but who knows. But so here's a screenshot. I've got 8 my beginning lessons done. There's basics, basics 2, phrases, accusative case, intro, food 1, and animals 1. And I've passed my first test with, actually I passed that with 100% I didn't have any wrong answers. Um, and I got 100 lingots, which is the currency in Duolingo, which you use. There's two lessons in there that are still purple, idioms and flirting, which I haven't done yet because um, I've still got to learn the basic language. I'm on plurals right now. Then there's adjectives, and I want to learn those before I go on to idioms and flirting. Well, not like I have anyone to flirt with, but um, I want to. I'm saving those for further down the road. And those were things that I had to buy with lingots, so it's not like that was part of the first lessons. So those are just sitting there, and I'm just gonna wait until I've got most of the language covered before I start doing idioms and flirting. So I'm just going to focus on what I have to focus on first before I move on to something that was extra. And those were extra. I had to pay for those, like I just said, I had to pay for those with lingots. And I'm on my 81-day streak right now. When I was doing these lessons for a week before I realized that I need to keep coming back every day, because if you maintain a streak, I guess you get something special. I have no idea, but I want to maintain as long as a streak as I can. Um, I saw somebody that had, I think they made a video that they were on their 300-day streak, which is a long day, or maybe it was more. But anyway, I want to get my streak as big as possible, and so I don't know what I'll get for it, but um, I have a learning disability. Learning is very difficult for me. So, and I'm learning pretty good, and I think it's because I want to learn. If I was trying to learn another language and I had no other reason to learn it, I probably would have a hard time because of the learning disability. But I think because I have two specific people that I want to learn it for, my aunt and my uncle, plus my brother, I think that's the reason why I'm learning, because, I have a reason to. So, anyway, Happy New Year to everyone. Happy 2019. I hope your year is better than it was last year, and I hope I'm able to make more videos. So thank you so much for subscribing, and thank you for liking and commenting, and I will catch you later. Bye.